Welcome back, everybody. Time for our Legal Eagles. A national restaurant chain is now under attack for the way the company handles tips. Joining us with more on this, we have our own Legal Eagle, Jon Street from the Higgins Firm. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here.
Well, you know, most of the time I thought it was kind of customary. If you're a server and you get tips, then you just keep what you get. But some places do something called pooling tips. That's where this comes in, right?
That's right. And some employers require their servers to do what's called tip pooling. What that means is they will force you to share a portion of your tips with, say, the busboy or, say, someone else, a bartender who may be serving drinks to people at the bar, things like that.
So it kind of tried to make it a little bit more fair, I guess, for everybody in the service. But now they've come under fire because of the way that they're doing it. So what is it that they're doing wrong when it comes to tip pooling? Well,
most people who are in the service industry, waitresses, bartenders, etc., can get paid $2.13 an hour, which is well below minimum wage.
Right.
But the employers can get a tip credit for tips that they receive as, of course, their job.
Right.
So when these employers force their employees to pool their tips, which is allowed in some circumstances. It's not always allowed. And the thing you want to look at is who is actually sharing the tips and how much of their actual tips are they having to share. The persons that can share the tips are people who actually come in contact with the customers, the people who are serving, the waiters, the waitresses, the bartenders who are serving drinks.
Right.
The busboys actually are okay. You know, they're over there bussing tables, you know, and someone leaves a tip, they may want the busboy to get a little bit of it. As long as it's reasonable to think that they wanted this person to get part of this tip they're leaving, then it's okay. But what's not okay is a manager, a cook, someone like that. And it's never okay to do if it results in a person making less than minimum wage, which is $7.25.
Oh, so that's where it really falls into play. If some of these people are pooling their tips and they're making less than minimum wage, then that's what it comes under fire. So what happens now and where this case is going?
Well, this is a case that's a big class action lawsuit against the national restaurant chain. So they're going to look in who is sharing the tips. Was it sharing with, sometimes these lawsuits involve sharing with a hostess who may seat people, and that's kind of a questionable, do they get to share, do they not, or they actually, did the person leave a tip for the hostess? So, you know, it's a good question. So I don't know where it's going to go from here. It's just really getting started. I know it's really going to be hard fought. I read that this particular chain called all the claims bogus. So we'll see. But, you know, if it is happening to you, what you need to do is make sure that you talk to an attorney, because every single case is going to be different. It's going to be a lot of factors they look at to determine whether this is allowed or not, and the employer could come back and if they are found liable, what they will lose is this ability to pay you $2.15 an hour, and they'll have to pay you minimum wage for all those hours.
Interesting, very interesting. So if people do think that they have a case for this, how do they go about proving it? Is that going to be the hard part?
Well, I mean, you're going to have income tax returns, you're going to have records of what you made, you're going to have somewhere, most restaurants require you to put your tips down, how much you're making, to make sure that you are getting paid this. You know, the record keeping requirement is on the restaurant. It's not on, it's not on the employee. So.
Okay. So that's good to know. All right, well, if you have questions about this, a lot of people in town, you know, they come into town for music and they end up having to serve or wait tables for a while. So I know this affects a lot of people. You can give the Legal Eagles a call at the Higgins Firm. It's 1-800-705-2121, online, thehigginsfirm.com. And if you have more questions, send them to us, Tennessee Mornings at fox17.com. Thanks for coming in, Jon.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Yeah. All right, coming up, sharpening your mind, the little changes that can make a big difference. And this YouTube post is getting the attention of Murfreesboro police. Why the man going into the pool is into a lot of hot water with officers. Plus, this week's Moby Deal is